The federal government's move to deduct $418 million from states' funds to settle debts owed consultants engaged by the states and local governments in relation to the Paris Club reforms. Celestina Area reports.
The grounds of the governors from the 36 states is that they were not parties to illegal action, which resulted in a judgment that ordered the federal government to deduct $418 million from the state government account to settle the debt obligations to various contractors who assisted the states in the Paris Club reform project. The Attorneys General of the 36 states had sought an order to restrain President Muhammadu Buhari and others from effecting the planned deduction. The defendants on their part argued that based on an earlier judgment of court, the former chairman of Nigerian Governors Forum, Abdulaziz Yari, issued a promissory note on behalf of the governors to the effect that the $418 million be deducted from their money from the Federation account. They therefore prayed Justice Eko not to sit as an appeal court in a matter that had earlier been decided by his court. Delivering judgment, Justice Ian Eko held that the plaintiff has not shown enough evidence to accord them the local standing to institute the action. The court noted that the contention of the plaintiff that it was not party to the judgment debt does not hold water because the Nigerian Governors Forum and the Association of Local Governments were parties in the suit. The action of the plaintiff amounts to an abuse of court process. Consequently, the judge dismissed the suit for lacking in merit.
Representative of the states, they require no consent from their governor, and their governor challenges not their authority. So it's strange to say that Attorney General of the 36 states of the Federation have no local standard to complain on behalf of the government of the state.
The court did not say that the Attorney Generals lack locals to institute action on behalf of their state. But he said in this matter, where the action of the governor is at the center of the suit, that they could not come without the consent of their governors, and secondly, they ought to make the governors respondents so that they can be heard.
Section 195 of the Constitution established the office of the Attorney General as an appointee by the governor. Due to the adverment and issues raised in this suit, the AGs ought to have shown that they got consent from the governors to institute the suit. Celestina Area, TVC News, Abuja.
And still in Abuja, the federal High Court has postponed its judgment on the suit filed by the Peoples Democratic Party, seeking to declare the seat of the Cross River State Governor, Professor Ben Ayade, and his deputy Variso vacant. The PDP filed the suit following their defection to the All Progressives Congress. Justice Taiwo, who initially fixed Friday to decide the case, has now postponed the judgment in the suit till April the 6th. Although the court did not adduce any reason why it postponed the verdict, it notified the parties about the new date through the course list. Justice Taiwo had in a judgment he delivered on Monday sacked 20 lawmakers from Cross River following their defection from the PDP to the APC. In the meantime, the Supreme Court has upheld the registration of 22 political parties carried out by the Independent National Electoral Commission. The parties were among 74 others scrapped by INEC in 2020 following their poor performance in previous general elections. Justice Ejembi Eko on Friday set aside a judgment of the Court of Appeal Abuja Division, which had nullified the deregistration of the political parties. He was delivering judgment in an appeal instituted by INEC against the judgment of the Court of Appeal. Justice Eko held that the Court of Appeal on its own raised the issue of lack of fair hearing in favor of the 22 scrapped parties and arrived at the conclusion without hearing from other parties in the matter. He therefore upheld the appeal by the electoral umpire as being meritorious and allowed. Let's bring you updates now from the ongoing preparations of the APC's National Convention, where all plans have now been completed. Chairman Convention of the Convention of Abubakar Sani Bello says the event would be successful going by the arrangement on ground. Chineme Bamae has details.
A few hours to the start of the APC National Convention, the political build-up to this moment has been intense. Conversations surrounding a consensus candidate are still rocking the boat of the party's leadership. However, fiscal preparations for the convention are completed. Niger State Governor and the Chairman Convention Committee, Abubakar Sani Bello, is here at the Eagle Square to assess the level of preparation in place thus far.
Committees have almost completed their assignments, so hopefully by early this morning the accreditation will start, and hopefully people will start entering the venue. So the venue is ready. Very soon this place will be evacuated for security reasons, and hopefully tomorrow we'll meet here.
All is set for the convention right now. Security is on ground. Shortly after now, security will sweep the entire area and eject everybody from this arena until tomorrow, and access will be granted to this place only by full accreditation. Also, the party supporters are here. They are ready already. Over there, you could see the stands are ready for each state. There's Ondo over there. There's Kogi over there. There's Kano. And if you don't know this place before, there is hardly a way that you can miss this place, because the political activities here is quite intense. There are party banners, there are banners of supporters and of their favorite aspirants, and also the lights are ready because this will surely run into the night. There's also a medical ambulance over there in case of a medical emergency to be able to handle that very well. Right now, security is a bit loose, but tomorrow the president is coming here and the security will be stricter than it is right now. Chanemi Bamei, TVC News, Abuja.
Meanwhile, Chairman All Progressives Congress Media Subcommittee Abdullahi Sulaiman says the unity list for the convention will be ready today. At a media briefing at the party's National Secretariat, Governor Saleh said some geopolitical zones have agreed on the list which will be put together. Habib Alawar reports.
Barely 24 hours to the National Convention, the ruling All Progressives Congress says that the unity list of its emerging National Executive Committee will be ready. The chairman of the Convention Media and Publicity Subcommittee, Nasarawa State Governor Abdullahi Sule, confirmed that some geopolitical zones have already agreed on the list, which will be put together. Another party chieftain believes the silence in the party since consensus was announced as the option is not a good signal.
Our delegates lists are actually statutory. They are delegates. So if you have a former president as political appointee, if you have a former senator as a political appointee, these are already automatic delegates. So let's not confuse the two. Just because being an appointee doesn't necessarily take you out of being a delegate.
So I'm not a soothsayer, I can predict what may happen, but I can guarantee you that there is a conspiracy of silence. Many people don't want to talk because the president has chosen a direction. And that could make or mar the success of the upcoming convention.
Meanwhile, the Legacy Rapporteur Subcommittee has reeled out the achievement of the party both at state, subnational and national levels, sharing strategic implementations of the party.
This conference is coming in the heels of our national convention, in which a new leadership will emerge that will lead the APC to victory in 2023 God willing.
When you see what the government has done in the last 6.5 years, one of the important reasons why we need this policy conference for members and also for the media is not to allow others define us.
Now we are at the point when non-oil revenues is 65% of our budget. So the Nigerian economy is truly diversified. Today, our GDP from the oil sector is 8%, which means 92% of the economy is the non-oil sector.
Although the party is working towards a unity list, it needs the agreement of major stakeholders to produce it. Habib Alawal, TVC News, Abuja.
Let's talk to correspondent Joke Adisa, who's been monitoring development at the Eagle Square. Talk to us, Joke, about your observations from the venue.
venue, the Eagle Square, is bubbling with activities. We have seen that posters have virtually taken over the whole of the arena here. Supporters of aspirants are busy going about their campaigns, and so it's a whole lot of activities here. We have seen traders also making businesses. That is what we have. It's come down to this convention, and the party is as good as ready. If you look around, we have seen policemen, security operatives having a difficult time containing the crowd that is trooping into the Eagle Square. It's been very hectic, so we are hoping that by tomorrow morning they will be able to get more reinforcement and be able to control the crowd. We have seen a whole lot of supporters coming around, carrying the posters of their principals and running campaigns for them, campaigning here and there. It's a very noisy environment as we speak. We are seeing policemen also getting set. They are positioned for in order to ensure security here. So that's what we have as we speak.
JK, outside the venue where you are, talk to us about infrastructure in ensuring that transportation is hitch-free, particularly in the Abuja metropolis.
Well, outside here, just like a normal day. But once you step out of here, just around this vicinity, is a very hectic time here. Traders, buyers, sellers are busy exchanging goods as we speak here. Outside here, but once you go outside of the central area here, it's just a normal day. If you look to my left, you'll see what I'm talking about. We have seen supporters of different aspirants, elective office seekers, running campaigns, they are just having a good time as far as they are concerned. They are displaying the posters, they are carrying the billboards of their principals, and also canvassing votes for them. So that's what we're even beyond this convention. Those that are aspiring to hold one elective office or another in the 2023 general election are also using this opportunity to run their campaigns. We have seen this everywhere, even as much as even to the ground here. You'll see posters, a whole lot of posters are put on the ground that people just march and go away. So that is what we have. By tomorrow, and I'm sure in less than 24 hours, with the arrangements of the party, this exercise should be over. It's been said that the program will start by 10 a.m. with accreditation and people getting seated. Mr. President is expected to be seated by 3 p.m. In the hope that the unity list that is being worked upon will have come up, and so it will just be a matter of endorsement, and that is what we are hoping. But in the event that does not happen, of course, it means that it will be a long day for each and every one of us, and that even for all the delegates, that will mean that there will be an election into all these various offices.
Joker Adisa live for us at the Eagle Square in Abuja ahead the March 26th APC National Convention. Thank you, Joker. The federal government says the second Niger bridge linking the southeast and south-south states is now at 91% completion. The Presidential Infrastructure Development Fund, the committee executing the project, added that the collaborations between the federal government and the state governments have been effective. Aside the second Niger bridge, the federal government is rehabilitating the Lagos-Ibadan and the Abuja-Kaduna-Zaria expressways, which are the main projects being executed through the PIDF. He said 2 of the projects will be completed this year, while the Abuja to Kano Road will be completed next year. Well, let's talk security now. Several members of the Boko Haram and Islamic State of West African province have fled their stronghold after troops raided their camp in Sambisa Forest. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Bernard Oyeko, disclosed this in a statement earlier today. He explained that soldiers attached to Operation Hardin Kai overran the insurgents in the course of a special operation without resistance about 9 a.m. on Thursday. The gallant troops also captured the terrorist stronghold of Kuba Camp Zario in Sambisa Forest. Major General Oyeko stated that the troops recovered several heavy equipment after a thorough condonance search of the captured camp. The fight against terrorism has just received another boost as the United States donates mobile nuclear detection system vans and equipment worth $2 million. The donation was made to the Explosive Ordnance Disposal Command of the Nigeria Police Force. Senior correspondent Ivy Kano reports.
Nigeria has continued to battle insurgency, banditry, and other forms of terrorism. At this event, the Explosive Ordnance Disposal Command has received these well-equipped mobile nuclear detection vans.
The smuggling of nuclear and radiological material is a significant national security concern, not only for the United States, but for every country. This equipment will help the police combat the smuggling of nuclear and radioactive material into and within Nigeria.
The Inspector General of Police was represented by the Commissioner of Police in charge of the Explosive Ordnance Disposal Command.
Let me also extend the IGP's profound gratitude to NSDD for the donations received so far, particularly the 5 MDS vans, 3 radioisotope identification devices, 3 backpack to radiation detectors, 3 survey meters, 7 sensor technology radiation pages, maintenance and spare parts kits.
Then there was simulation by some of the officers trained by the United States Department of Energy's National Nuclear Security Administration Office of Nuclear Smuggling Detection and Deterrence. This second car was detected by the van. After a thorough inspection with the donated equipment, a radioactive material was found on the driver of the vehicle flashed by the van. At the end of the simulation, certificates were presented to the officers. A total of 40 officers were trained for the 2 weeks. 30 received operators training, while 10 had maintenance training. The United States government says the collaboration is going to be a continuous one that will be beneficial to the country, be it in donation of equipment where necessary and capacity building for Nigerian security officers in tackling security challenges. And we hope this is a train-the-trainer program so that junior officers will also benefit. Ivy Kano, CBC News, Lagos.
The burden of drug abuse is becoming a public health concern in Nigeria, and beyond preventive measures, there must be a consistent identification of the root causes of failed interventions. These and many other views were the submission of participants at the campaign against drug abuse organized by a coalition of youth advocates in Ado-Ekiti. Ayomide Ajegbe reports.
Challenged by the rising cases of drug abuse by young persons, Kayode Adamolekun organized this workshop to address salient issues on the use and abuse of drugs, especially among adolescents.
Don't wait till it is too late to make amends. Simply avoid the past entirely and invest yourself into activities that are worthwhile in order to bring you to a desirable end.
At this gathering, which was targeted at youth, resource persons shared their experiences and cautioned young persons against addictive substances that may not be entirely dangerous at the first taking, but can endanger the long run.
When anybody is caught, let it be logically followed to the end, and let people see that what is bad is bad.
Beyond the campaign and advocacy against drug abuse, parents need to do more to reduce miscreants and deranged individuals in our streets.
Number one is the parental control. Many parents no longer put eyes on their children. they are carried away by society issues, parties, all kinds of activities during weekends and during the day. They don't have eyes on their children.
One of the major issues that has made interventions difficult is the accessibility of these drugs in so-called patent medicine stores.
People are not professionals. If you need to get your medication, control medication, if you go to a pharmacy, I'm sure a pharmacist is not going to dispense tramadol to you without seeing an indication for these drugs. But we are faced with the challenge of quack people who have access to these drugs. So as a body, what we are doing is to make sure that the inflow, the supply chain of this control medication is so restricted and so guarded so that it doesn't get into the hands of miscreants who eventually dispense it to members of the society without prescription, leading to drug abuse and eventually.
The end point of this workshop is to sensitize, educate, and rehabilitate, if needed, young persons and empower them for impactful living. Ayomide Ajayigbe, TBC News, Ado-Ekiti.
Edo State government has denied the widely reported sack of workers under the State Sports Commission. This was made known by the Deputy Governor of the state, Philip Shaibu, while addressing the athletes who blocked the gate to Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium in protest over the alleged sack. Paul Ezenwa reports.
For the second day running, staff of Edo Sports Commission are protesting alleged sack of 513 workers by the state government. Vehicular and human traffic around the stadium were affected as all adjoining roads and routes are blocked. The sportsmen and women are demanding a reversal of the sack that was contained in a linked memo.
I said they are sacking us, okay? Which one is redeployment? If it's redeployment, we are Edo people now. If they want to redeploy, we'll go to anywhere they want to take us. So we're not afraid to work in any part of the state. If they are redeploying us, they should bring a letter of redeployment. We'll go to whichever ministries they are taking us to.
We have a lot of people here who is eating from here. Now this is putting food on their table. So we don't know what happened. We will not steal, we will not fight, we will not destroy anybody. We don't know why government took that decision. So with this media, we are begging the government to revise that decision.
Here, the Deputy Governor, in company of some members of the Sports Commission, arrived at the stadium to address the aggrieved sportsmen and women. He says the government has not relieved anybody of their job.
The Sports Commission chairman came to tell me that they say they sack people. I said we have not approved sacking of anybody. Whoever can no longer do well in sports that are in our payroll, we are going to take them out of here to the ministry where he can work. Some of them that have challenges, we deal with the challenges. Those of you that are still very active, we'll prepare you for open cap for Delta 2022. That is what we have agreed. So all this story of people being sacked, there is nothing like that. There's nobody that sacked anybody. So whoever have told you have been sacked, that person is the problem you have.
With this denial, free nails will find some relief, even if it is temporary, as coming days will prove whether the reported sack was a mere rumor or not. Paul Ezenwa, TVC News, Benin.
In December 2020, President Buhari inaugurated an interim administration for the Niger Delta Development Commission. He said this was important at the time the commission was enmeshed with allegations of corruption and maladministration. We're joined now by the interim administrator of the NDDC, Effiong Akwa, for more on developments in that commission. Dr. Akwa, I'd like us to begin with what many people are calling perhaps an expiration of the usefulness of the NDDC, particularly when you consider reports from the recent document saying that perhaps thousands of projects over the years have been abandoned and trillions of naira misappropriated. Just a few days ago, a federal high court in Bayelsa is asking for a total rejigging and perhaps a total collapse of the current administration and asking for the details of that particular document to be open. How are you reacting to all of this development at this time?
Thank you very much, Mr. Presenter.
It is a privilege to be here in your studio. I want to thank all of you for the opportunity of being here. The Niger Delta Development Commission, as you are aware, is interventionist agency of the federal government. And so far, we have been doing that aspect of intervening in the projects of the federal government as far as the Niger Delta Development Area is concerned. Now, it is on record that over the years, you had abandoned projects totaling over 13,000 projects issued and abandoned by previous administration. But the good news is that we give thanks to God and thanks to the President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration that said all these must come to an end. President Buhari had to refocus NDDC. The first thing he did was to assign the responsibility, delegate his powers and responsibility under Section 7, Sub 3 of the NDDC Act to the capable Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, His Excellency Senator Godswill Akpabio, CON. Apparently, maybe because of his capacity and ability and track record. And so far, from what we have seen, I can assure you we have not been disappointed. And they went to work, they focused, the direction was clear, the vision was clear. Now focus on projects that were of much use to the generality of the people, projects that were abandoned, that we do not want to see projects littered all over without none being completed for the benefit of the people of Niger Delta and the people of Nigeria. And you can see the facts are clear. First, the Honorable Minister went to work, and I think one thing led to the other, and then the interim administration, because the NDDC, as it were, could not function. So because of that, the circumstances that came up that led to the establishment of the interim administration. And the first vision that was given was that, look, you people were operating from a rented head office apartment, and these must come to an end. And a project, I tell you, a project that was conceived for over 26 years during this administration, during the focused administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, with the capacity building, with the able leadership of supervision of the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, the head office projects made up of 13-story building, twin tower building, and commercial structure has been completed and put to use. And
indeed,
so we
Dr.
have
Akwa,
left the
let me ask you this very quickly.
As
we speak, there's a court order asking for the dissolution of the NDDC's administration. It's asking that the commission be removed from the ministry and that the reports of the audit be made open. Why is it taking, why does it seem like it's taking forever to have a definite step taken by government as regards the forensic audit?
Okay, first let me just speak to you. The issue of the issue of a court order is a mere social media hype. If you look at the contents of that so-called order, it is a leave granted to the applicants, a leave seeking a leave is a permission that is given to the applicants to compel the federal government to do one or two things. It cannot be, it is not a final order. So what we have heard social media come out to say, oh, it is a perpetual injunction. Let me explain to you. From the point of view of law, a perpetual injunction is a conclusive order of the court that is only made available, issued by the judge, upon listening to all the parties, the applicant and the respondent. And it cannot at any point in time be issued ex parte behind the... So there is nothing like... I mean, it's a social media hype. Let me explain that to you. Because the matter will be heard. The Attorney General of the Federation will be responding. The date for the response is on the 5th of April. And NDDC as an organization will be applying to join, because whatever is the result of it may affect NDDC. So there is nothing that is unlawful. It's just that that's the problem we have to live with. The social media will give you a legal interpretation on things that they do not know. In any case, I would not want to comment deeply further, because as far as we are concerned, the matter is sub judice.
It's a good place to leave it. It's unfortunate we're running out of time on this conversation. But we must say a big thank you, Interim Administrator, NDDC, Dr. Afung Akwa. Thank you for talking to us tonight. In other news now, Nigeria's first female Vice-Chancellor, Grace Alele-Williams, has died at the age of 89. Professor Alele-Williams, a professor of mathematics, gained prominence after she was appointed the Vice-Chancellor of the prestigious University of Benin in 1985. Her tenure witnessed a drastic reduction in courtism and menace in the Uniben at the time. Before her appointment as Vice-Chancellor, she made history as the first Nigerian woman to obtain a doctorate degree in mathematics education in 1963, a rare feat in the 60s. At this time, the circumstances surrounding her death is not clear, but we'll bring you more details in subsequent bulletins. We'll take another break now and we'll be back with more stories. Stay with us.
And on business news tonight, business leaders have been urged to be innovative and resilient, addressing unprecedented disruption in the business world. The charge was given at the 2022 edition of the CFO luncheon put together by the Franco-Nigeria Chamber of Commerce and Industry in Lagos. Blessed Omonose reports.
The importance of resilience for businesses around the world has become a primary concern during the last few years as a result of climate change, the COVID-19 pandemic, and more recently, the Russia-Ukraine crisis, which has taken its toll on the global economy. But the big question begging for answer is, how can business leaders meet the resilience challenge to achieve sustainable and inclusive growth in a rapidly changing environment? At this gathering, put together by the Franco-Nigerian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, business leaders have been urged to improve their strategic planning and decision-making skills.
Since financial reporting is a system-wide process, so having a quality financial statement entails that the system has built in all the shocks to take care of all the crises.
The CFO should understand their role that has gone beyond debit and credit, right? They should understand that they are now a strategic partner, even in every of the organization they represent. And having that in mind, they'll be able to develop strategies that are sustainable, not just for survival purpose. And if they can put that into work, they will make sure at the end of the day, they'll have an organization that will survive and even thrive.
For identifying, prioritizing...
Director General of the FNCCI, Mr. Moses Umaru, emphasized on the need for corporate organizations to be flexible and innovative in overcoming unprecedented disruption.
If you look at the Russia-Ukraine crisis, we understand that the price of oil has increased because of definitely the cost of oil price from the global market, over $100 per barrel. But looking at the cost of wheat and what have you, the cost of other energy products are going to increase. And what that happens is that it brings about an increase in terms of cost for final consumers, while affecting the company's bottom line negatively. What companies should do right now, as far as the global issue is concerned, is to hold on to your cost while finding a way to be able to mitigate whatever is happening as far as your business are concerned.
In the bid to shape a common resilience agenda to strengthen economic growth, CFOs have been advised to urgently intensify dialogue between players in the public and private space. Blessed Omonose, TVC News, Lagos.
As part of efforts to curb the menace of rabies and resultant human fatalities in the state, the Lagos State government has flagged off a free mass anti-rabies vaccination campaign program for domestic pets, especially dogs and cats. According to the State Commissioner for Agriculture, Ms. Abisola Olusonya, the vaccination campaign is aimed at promoting awareness of rabies among dogs and cats, as rabies remain a deadly disease mostly transmitted to humans through infected dogs' bites, which can result in fatalities if not treated early. She noted that Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's administration is leaving no stone unturned in eradicating the spread of rabies and other communicable diseases in the state.
We also have the number of people that actually own pets in Lagos State but are not really doing what is needed. So we leave our dogs, we leave our cats to stray on the streets, we leave them to eat whatever they need to eat just to survive, but that is not the right thing. If you're going to own a pet, be responsible about it.
As a government of Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the state is resolute about ensuring a healthy environment and people. Thus, Mr. Governor is determined to eradicate rabies from Lagos State in order to ensure that the state remains its megacity status and remains the Lagos of our collective dream.
For the pet owners, it's a good opportunity for you to bring out your pet for vaccination. Very important. We have been told the importance of vaccination because the anti-rabies campaign that is ongoing is something that is very, 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 very important and is critical.
Well, a pre-survey meeting on the implementation of institutionalizing monitoring of crop variety using genotyping program has been held in Abuja. Well, the platform, which was introduced in the country last year, is a means whereby farmers can be provided with original seeds for cultivation. Our correspondent Lara Falaya reports that it was established to end the current trend of inaccuracies in the existing methodology for household surveys by farmers.
The institutionalizing monitoring of crop variety genotyping program, also known as the IMAGE program, was introduced into Nigeria's agricultural system last year. The project targets making improved variety monitoring and reporting possible in the country for crops including rice, maize, cowpea, and cassava. A development meant to change the narrative of poor methodology used in assessing farmers' adoption of improved varieties.
We are organizing a training under the project institutionalizing monitoring of variety adoption using genotyping. This is a new tool that we are using to trace and track adoption of crop varieties that is used by farmers.
We are grateful that Nigeria took a lead to make sure that they are initiating the training of partners as well as the data collection and data collectors. So we are representing Tanzania here to learn from Nigeria first before we implement in our country.
The norm in Nigeria has been the use of household surveys from farmers for adopting improved seed varieties, and this has been characterized by flaws which include inconsistencies in DNA fingerprinting. The IMAGE project, on its part, would now give adequate methodology for the measurements and also provide the data on the varieties done over time.
National capacity, so that post the project we can conduct meaningful surveys that will impact the Nigerian agricultural and seed system in particular for the better.
They give different names in different society, in different communities to different varieties. And by the time we want to know the re-adoption, we find it difficult because several names are given to the same varieties. But this DNA fingerprinting will really capture the re-adoption of improved crop varieties in the country.
The 5-year project is supported by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation alongside other partners, and it is being implemented in Nigeria, Tanzania, and Ethiopia.
Standardizing the country's seed market is part of the fight against fake and substandard seeds in the country. But the battle is still yet to be won. Lara Falaya, TVC News, Abuja.
Weekend transactions at the stock market closed with lower indices as many investors stayed on market sidelines. Let's turn to Effiong Echo for details.
Deals at the stock market maintained low positions in the week as bearish trend dominated sectors. The largely flat index of the markets pointed to price cuts and business losses. The low trades followed intense price drops on shares and losses on investments. Northern Nigeria flour mills was the heaviest loser by more than 7%. FCMB, livestock feeds, Nimet Pharmaceuticals and UPDC also lost huge values in prices. On the opposite windows of trade gainers were PZ, Japal Gold, FCN Cocoa, African Prudential Insurance and Chick PLC. The volume of shares traded was averaged as 177 million units worth 4 billion naira were crossed in market sectors. Effiong Echo, TVC News, Lagos.